and welcome to another Enough Talk L5R Evil Portents
Woohoo!
review thing. I'm Paul, that's Jesse, and we are talking now about SOL. That's a delightful regional colloquialism that stands for Same Old Lions. They're 0-3 right now after making an impressive playoff run last year. It doesn't look like they're going to win a game until like week 8, and at other points in my life, that'd be one of the most depressing things, but hey, good news. Sort of. I have more depressing life events this last week related to. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about the Lions.
Is that
And,
really a thing? Is that a Detroit Free Press thing?
yeah, you've never
SOL.
heard SOL? You're
So
really
your
not a fan of
question,
the sport?
your question is if people here in Shanghai have heard the latest about the Detroit Lions.
SOL stands for Same Old Lions. It's a common response to, man, did you see the Lions blow it? And they're like, yeah, SOL. I guess it also means something else that involves an expletive, but who cares about that? That's sort of where the cleverness comes from. Yeah, SOL. That's listen to sports talk radio sometimes.
I will take that under advisement. But first, let's talk about Lion personalities.
We got more important things to talk about, like Akoto Masako from a dying game. Okay,
So I hate this personality, and I want to talk about why first. I actually love this personality.
First, there's no Sakura tree. Is that part of it?
That is actually not part of it. I have more interesting commentary this time than just complaining about the artwork on cards. This is a really cool card, and I like that they're using. There's actually a couple of Lion duelists in here that really put a lion-y spin on dueling, and they're doing a really good job of spreading their wings and taking flight. The problem with this guy, okay, is you challenges a guy, check. You win and you get reserve, like a really cool lion duel thing.
Love that specific, like, what can we do for winners of battles? And I'm like, this is great.
Now, if the winner was the challenged, and in the duel and defending, give the reserve personality -5 gold. The reason why I hate this card is because I had to read this a couple times. It's like the challenged is not a word, like a rules term that's frequently used in L5R. And guys don't frequently have abilities that work like this. So you read it once and you're like, okay, so that's awesome. Like sometimes this guy makes my guy cheaper. And you stop and you want to like read it and figure out like, okay, so what do I have to do to get my cheapness off of my duel ability? And then you realize that this guy has built-in text for when you lose the duel to give your opponent an additional benefit.
Because if you're attacking the opponent and if you're attacking, it's your turn. Your opponent probably doesn't have a ton of unbound gold, so like they could give reserve to their face-up guy, and it wouldn't do anything. And honestly, even with the -5, it might not do anything because if the only guy they have in their province is 7 gold, they probably don't have 2 gold unbound. And a lot of times you attack people and they don't have a face-up guy, so it's a lot of extra fluff for the situation when this guy loses his duel. And I kind of hate it. I mean, I don't kind of hate it.
I loathe it. The idea
I think you just stop at winner may target and give reserve to a personality.
Absolutely.
And if you want to do cool gold stuff, if you want to say when this guy wins his duel, he gives one of your dudes reserve and -5 gold, that'd be sweet. That would be like, make him a rare, build your deck around him, let's get going. That'd be
man,
just...
and that'd be sweet. Like, finally Lion have a reason to duel. Like, you get -5 gold in reserve.
It's just give a guy reserve. People kind of stopped playing concealed reserves, but it's still like it's still a cool Ijutsu battle duel. I'm not gonna talk bad about it. Is it worth it for a 3/3 for 6 guy? I guess. I mean, he's got the PH, so he fits in the Lion duel deck. So okay.
He's like
none of the other duelists have reserve, so
He's like right on the edge, but you're right. Yeah. The fact, like if he gave an additional action to recruit the guy, or if he had 4 force or something, like I feel like he's just a little bit not quite there. I just want to talk about the fact that he helps your opponent even more when you lose the duel. Yeah,
and it's just an unnecessary, like, it's too clever by half design. It's like somebody, like, they thought about it, said, well, what if I issue it and I lose and my opponent gets reserved, but like it doesn't help him? And it's like, well, then you took an action that just to make your opponent focus some cards and you lost and whatever.
Right, like you did nothing. Like you lost an entire action.
Yeah, you lost the tempo. Yeah, you played a philosophy. That's bad enough. I agree. So, On
Ikamo
to
Morita. Isn't
yeah,
there a
so he's the
Matsu Morita currently legal?
seems likely. So fear equal to the number of attacking units, which may target a personality with followers if you can control it. So, we've played these swarm decks, but one of the key elements of those like Liony swarm decks was force. This guy's force is terrible, and so I'm never playing him because a fear effect that could get arbitrarily large is still just a fear effect.
We've talked about it. Now, the last line of text isn't nothing. Being able to target guys with followers attached if you're playing like an all-in Lion Fear deck with Akura's released, and you can have Zilkit's family and use this guy to blow up guys with followers. I'm reaching. You don't ever play this guy for exactly the reason Paul said. These swarm decks live and die on 5 gold for 3 force. This guy's 5 gold for 2 force. He missed the boat. Sorry, buddy.
Matsu guy is 2/2 for 4 with a fear 3, and like he's pretty much cut out of most of those decks by now because the 2 force is too much of a liability. And this guy is generally 2/2 for 5 for fear 3 for those early attacks. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, not a lot to say about this one. This next one, though, I think is super cool and super awesome and super pushed, frankly. Like, first off, we've like a 5/4s for 3 gold tactician, so like she's going in all those swarm decks that we were just talking about because you can buy her and have like a 7/force guy.
Duelist and tactician are 2 keywords that work well together because hey, they both involve 5 focus value cards.
And then this is the second card of those like cool liony things is like she tacks up her chi. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so her chi is kind of terrible and sucky. 2 chi is not something you're gonna like issue and win a lot of duels off, but you tack your 4 to get her to 7 force, and now she's 7/4, and that's quite great. Actually, that's really good. So, and the fact that it rounds up is really neat. So like a 3 is still a 2.
Yeah, so she can be like a 6/4. I mean,
that's an important bit. The roundup. There's the card that tacks for 5, so that gets them to
Agreed. Yeah, and I don't know that like I'm ever going to use that chi. Like I don't want a lion duel, frankly, and like, even after you tack her, so you put a weapon on her or something, and you tack her to like a 4. Like you just don't need to. Like just buy a different guy who's already 4 chi.
And it's too much. It's too many actions for me. It's like okay, I have this guy.
That's the other thing.
I tactician my way of the lion, and now I can play my duel card and still maybe access. But like, there's simpler, better, more straightforward military strategies. But this is a take on a card. Like you wanted to make lion duelist. You're like, we want to make this happen. This is a way to make that happen that gives that deck a very specific, different flavor. And so that's thumbs up, good design. Not every card gets to be in a top tier competitive deck because that's the way of CCGs. But as far as secondary card design and common fun themes go, I think this is the right blending of duelist and tactician.
Yeah, but that all having been said, like just as a 3/4 for 5 gold tactician guy, I'm not sure this guy doesn't make the cut in those swarm.
Duelist too, right? There's a bunch of random cards that will key off duelist.
Right, yeah. Like you put her in that slot. You were playing like there's the one Sundered Blade or whatever that blows up an attachment. Yeah. You just swap out like the whatever random like 4 gold 2/4 duelist. You work for this guy and she takes provinces like crazy, and like once in a while her duelist thing triggers, and maybe you can even find a card that's like, target a guy and make a ranged attack equal to their chi, and then sometimes she can be a big chi to do that. Like
tacticians with retribution haven't been a thing because retribution, or I guess what's it called, reprisal, that hasn't been a thing lately, but I could see some sort of like, she reprisals really well. You attack the 4 to get her to 7, to play the reprisal to go to 8, but now she's also a high chi thing.
Yeah.
I don't
know, but I think this is a perfectly fine card. You say like it doesn't make the cut.
And you can put her in those Lion Swarm decks, right? Just as a 3/4 for 5 tactician. Absolutely, like you said. So, on to Conan the Barbarian.
This is reused art, I believe.
This is fan art. It's Conan the Barbarian fan art.
Okay. Sure this is, yeah.
Maybe Wolverine when he lost his mutant power fan art. I don't know.
Of course.
Anyway.
I was almost going to ask, did Wolverine lose his mutant power? I'm just not. Like, we're rolling back that train of thought.
Stay away.
This guy's actually not terrible. Like the cat guys, there's like the one cat guy that makes melee threes, and I'm thinking about like this is a
He
guy
makes
that
melee twos unless it's against an infantry card, in which case it's a melee three. But he also searches out a young battle cat.
I'm just thinking so like the young battle cat's like the fear effect. I'm just thinking about like how many melee attacks can I make, and like this guy's not so bad for making more melee attacks.
If it is a cat with higher force and an opposing bout follower,
Yeah, okay, and then
yeah,
we get into it. There's got to be like a bow guy and blah blah.
I sort of like as you were explaining how he might be good, I started to read it and I just sort of like fell asleep. Okay, so here's what I like: 3/3 for 6 cavalry guy who can attach the cavalry cat followers and take a province. But you need 2 of them. No, I don't like it. I mean, I guess there may eventually come a lion deck with followers and cavalry stuff. Question mark.
There was, I mean, Splash Lion Cavalry has always been good. There was the deck I played a lot of an Emperor that had the one Paragon that was randomly cavalry and you
Well,
gave him a follower and off he went.
it's different now, right? So like now cavalry means I can just not assign him to attack, so I have him for the defense, which I guess is an okay play. Like you put the big cat on him, and then he sits at home. He doesn't assign right away, and you assign all your other units, and then
Right,
he
but
gives
chump defense doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, so is there a way, like, he can straighten the follower even if he's unopposed? There might be, like, a follower that bows to shoot people with no hiding place, and then I straighten the follower to still take a province? I don't know.
Round
Straighten
of the
target
ear, we're coming
follower,
around, and yeah, but, we touched it. We touched it.
Sensei. I mean,
It's,
I feel like
all of
if
these Beastmasters. Yeah, you go
if I
first.
play this guy, I'm playing him because he's a 3/3 for 6 cavalry guy who straightens a follower. I'm not playing him for the cat stuff. I'm playing him because I can give him a trained swordsman, or I guess a trained horseman because he's got cavalry, and take a province, and then in battle straighten the follower. Like, he's a commander, so you can play the commander cards. Yeah, I can see this guy. So I give him a trained horseman. I take a province because he's a 8 force cavalry unit. And then later on in the game, I use my trained horseman to shoot a thing, and then I bow my trained horseman to play the bow a follower to kill a thing card, and then I straighten it because he can do that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right way to read this card. All the cat stuff is just don't even look at it.
Yeah, so
just ignore
and
it.
That's the thing. So yeah, what is it? Superior defense is the one that's like, if it attached to a commander, you may bow it to draw a card. Yeah, and then I take my additional action, and so I'll get a free card. So I'll get a cantrip effect off my superior defense with my trained horseman.
Boom,
Achievement
got there.
unlocked.
We did it.
That's right. That's some
You
work.
have a PlayStation. Those have trophies, not achievements.
That's right.
Matsutayuko is another unclearly written card. I know what it's supposed to mean. While attacking, she has +2 force and +1 force for each honor action you resolve this turn. I think that you could easily read this card as she has +3 force for each honor action you have resolved this turn.
It just seems that she gets like +2, +1, and they just like split it up just to like make you do math.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I get that that's not what it is, but
I do. Like, the ambiguous nature of and yep. No, I do. Boy, this after each honor action is whew, boy. And we still don't know if that means specifically the rulebook honor effect or just played an action with the honor keyword.
Yep.
I guess it's both.
Or neither. It's unclear, man. It's like how I thought that Bushido effects were like. There's the one guy that's like your
cards
Bushido,
that had courage or Bushido cards.
but it turns out that it has to say Bushido virtues. The only legal card that interacts is open emotion. Yeah, that's exactly the one I'm talking about. This guy though, not terrible.
Yeah. So always attack, never defend. 3/3 for 5 with a send home effect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Like
great
perfect.
card.
Always, you're not defending, but the deck you were playing this guy and you weren't really defending. And if you are defending, it's to do something like strategic withdrawal, at which point you don't really care about his one stupid force anyway. So
absolutely.
And the honor force bonus stuff, and we're gonna be, there's a lot of honor cards in this set, and I'm not gonna go through all of them, but like it's easy to envision a situation where like you get your gold, you get your two dudes, and he's one of them, or she's one of them. It's one of them. And then you play like an honor card to gain some kind of force bonus, and now you're like taking a province with just the two guys, trying
Yeah,
to like up tempo it. So it's a fine card and
agreed.
cool overlay potential, I guess.
I think that
Like
she's the
too little
experience.
more expensive.
The who's the like the 5 force guy, the 3 gold guy that's like 3 force while attacking. And
That's this guy, Matsu Tiyoko. This is the experienced version of that guy.
I thought that that guy had the experienced version last time. It was like the 11 honor requirement. He had the funny spear thing.
Oh, that's like Hachiro or something.
I don't know.
Okay, let me explain it to you. The experience. Are you ready for me?
I'm ready. Hit me,
Okay.
man. Hit me.
So the experienced guy last set, or in like the new order, the unplayable Paragon,
Yes.
is the experienced Matsu Hachiro,
Yes.
who is the like cheap guy from Emperor Edition, who is like 4 gold, but you bought for 2 that had the +2 force while attacking.
Okay.
That's the soul of Gohai. Matsu Tiyoko is not the soul of Gohai. It's just a very sort of similar card.
This
You
is
got
what the
it?
soul of Gohai experience should have been. That's
Okay,
all I
I
wanted
agree.
to say. This is what the soul of Gohai experience should have been.
Except Tayoko is exactly like Gohai, and this is the soul of Tayoko. So I mean, it's still right.
Okay, you win, man. I just wanted to call
Uh,
that other card a bad card again, and instead I got a
it's
history
just like
lesson
a
about.
shout out, like the Scar Still Burns. That was like before 20 festivals. It's been like 8 months, but I'm not over it,
I'm
man.
not
It's
over it.
still bad. It's still bad. Okay, on to Matsu Yamamura,
I want a
who is a
hug. I'm feeling lonely.
scion of the wind, and like. So my problem with these cards is it makes lions look like big cuddly things, and they're not. They're like vicious killing machines. Like, do not like they're not cats.
Do not
Okay,
attempt to give a lion a hug. Like, yeah, these are
uh,
not.
did
Your
not go
house
well
cat
for
would eat
you.
your face if it was big enough too, and you didn't feed it regularly. Like, cat people, stop. Like, all of you, just stop.
Okay, so super cheap. So get Ryan Romans on the phone and say yes. Right, wait. I think he's coming through. He hates him. Okay, well that's good to know.
That was easy. Why does he hate him, Paul?
Because it involves non-human follower force bonus equal to force of any bout. It's ugh. It's
My
just
favorite
ugh.
part about this card is that he can bow
Ugh.
to give
Yeah,
his force to the follower. Like,
that's
oh,
right.
I'm 1 force. I need to do an action. Like, I'll move 1 force from here to there. Your turn. It's like,
Okay, so if I
why?
give this guy a weapon and make him 3 force, I can bow my guy to give the follower 3 force, and then use a straighten effect to almost take a province. It's just so like, it's so fearful, right? It's such a fearful like. The give the non-human follower a force bonus is kind of neat,
Agreed.
but equal to any bout, and it's just I
The
don't
bowed
like
thing, and
it.
we saw this on the
I
Wolverine guy
don't
too. That it cares about bowed guys.
like. Okay, so if you make this guy 2 force for 3 gold and battle, give your target non-human follower a +2 force bonus. Like that's still not a good card, but at least it's like within a realm where I might be interested in trying to play it because I understand how it works.
Yeah, some of these. It's an interesting point that when they design these variable cards, like what's the difference between like I get that when you put it like this, there's that blowout feeling of well, sometimes I'm gonna get there like
Yeah,
5 force
every
guy
now and
bowed, and
then
then every now
I'll
and then.
bow their 5 force trained hordemen.
And I'm
Swordsman.
curious behind the scenes, and if I ever did like a Brian Reese, debriefing interview, like one of the questions I'd ask him is if like they ever had any conversations like this about like what's the value of a simply templated, easy to understand card versus that like emotional feeling of like constructing the blowout situation in your head.
Yep.
And like to me, there's no question. Like you pick the easy to understand, like simple, straightforward card every single time.
Well, especially when it comes to something like giving a force bonus, right? Like you're not doing a cool abstract thing. You're just giving a force bonus. It doesn't need to be 9 lines of text. It's a force bonus.
Agreed.
How about give your non-human follower a force bonus equal to Yamamura's gold cost? Done.
Yeah. How about
I could give him a young battle cat, use my bonus, and still just be at like 6 force. Or if I have to bow to do it, even less.
How about bow? Target a bowed personality. Give a guy +3 force. Done.
Yeah, I mean, just
So yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about Benica. Now.
So we're on to the sensei here.
We're on to the sensei. So Benica. Benica was a card that saw play at a different time in L5R. He had an impact.
I feel like you're not doing it justice, okay? Because you have to talk about. Okay, I do your shtick, then I'll do my shtick.
My shtick was like that, like hilariously understated Benica deformed samurai for the entire duration until they printed Mogo Chatatai.
Well, also because of Hachigaru, right? Like it was it was a tandem, right? It was the two of them together sort of ruining everything. My favorite bit about Benica is that we changed the rules of the game for how followers worked into samurai. We have this barely remembered now because it's been lost to history, but they came up with this really cool idea for transferring attachments.
Yep.
Where it was like one of the problems with attachments is the reason they didn't work as a card type backline, they weren't very efficient, but also like you would put it on your guy and then that guy would get bowed.
I had forgotten all about this. This is so cool.
It was a mess, right? So they came up with this really fun, cool idea of like moving stuff between your troops where you would transfer. That's where the word transfer first came from. You would bow. So like as an open action, it was still generally limited to attach, but as an honest to goodness open action, you could transfer like your sword from like Benica to somebody else.
Yep.
And you did that by bowing it and moving it to a different just a different unbowed guy. Maybe even a bowed guy. And like that was a really cool idea. And like you could do things like I have a sword and it's bowed, but I'll straighten it with my card and then I'll bow the sword and move it over here. And now my unbowed defender is bigger because he's picked up the sword from his sort of like tired comrade. And that was a really cool thing, right? We had to get rid of it in Celestial because we had made Benica, who would make a bunch of stupid followers and then move them all over the place.
Right, she was like paid 2 gold and she got
paid 2 gold to like make 2 followers.
If she had no followers.
Yeah, and it just so like she would never have followers because she always moved them around.
Paid 2 gold, make 2, slide them off.
It was a disaster, yeah, and it was like.
So,
and she made 2 on 2 guys, and they moved them up. And then the other guy was the one Rattling, who we just banned, Macker Chick, the Stain Paw 7, who made like 0 Force Rattling followers, and he moved them all around. And like we just ended up banning him, but we couldn't ban Benica, and it was just so we ended up.
Was that the 7 gold? Was that the 7 gold 3 Force Rattling Shugenja that made 1?
Yeah, that like made it equal to the
number.
Yeah, they just banned them straight out for Samurai. Samurai had all kinds of messes. So. That's Benica.
So that's Benica, and sometime between then and now, she acquired the Jade Hand and Sigourney Weaver's haircut from Aliens, and she got a lot
Why
worse.
are you petting the lion with the hand that has like no feeling and is unconscionably like uncomfortable because it's made of jade? By the way, like that's kind of a douchey thing to do to your pet.
I like how she appears to be infecting the lion with some sort of jade power. That like. She's like, I will casually arrest the most powerful artifact in Rokugan in this lion's head, like doing who knows what to its brain.
It's like the black oil from X-Files, which
exactly.
there's a hip cultural reference that's not at all outdated. They're coming back. So what do we get now? So we went from a personality that like deformed the environment because she was of her awesomeness to a fear effect.
A fear effect now, an engaged fear effect, which isn't nothing.
Yeah, okay, so I gloss over that. Engaged fear is a really cool place for fear. Like,
Agreed.
We're starting to size up for the battle, and you see us coming, and you're like, oh crap, look, she's got jade-eyed lions. That's kind of scary.
Yep. I just think it's a more powerful than you think. It's like a pseudo-sneaky thing.
It can't just be an engaged fear effect. It has to be an engaged fear effect
if you have a Beastmaster with a cat.
Right, and
clone.
that's where the wheels fall off the bus. Is
That's
that
what
it has
comes
to be a
off, yeah.
Beastmaster. Like the fact that it can't just. It's not that it's a cat. Okay, it's not just a fear effect. It has to be a cat on a Beastmaster, and then you get to like double sneak attack if you know.
Can't
Like,
just be like a generic non-human too. We can't like use our Razor whatever thing. We can't use Razor thing. It's got to be like it's gotta say cat.
so I think this is like a
Oh,
big.
Razor
It's a
thing
huge
says
miss.
cat. Get some.
Get some. It's a big old miss, but like the idea of like if Beastmasters were good and if cats were good. In fact, if I could just target Razorfang and like do a
You
melee
can
3
target
as the
Razor Fang.
engage, like
Razor
I
Fang's
would.
a cat, man. Razor Fang's a non-human cat.
Right, but I'm saying that if it just lets you take the cat's ability, if it was like engage, like target the cat, take its ability if it's on a
Sure.
Beastmaster. Like if I could engage melee 3, I'd jump through the hoops. I'd even play some bad
Yep.
Beastmasters in my deck to get this.
I also agree that if it was a completely different card, it might be better.
Okay, like our Enough Talk Smarm aside, I think that's a pretty similar card, right? It's just you're targeting the
Yep.
cat instead of making like a poopy fear 3. It's because the cats all say fear effects on them anyway.
But the real thing is, as much as I kind of like this Sensei because it's sort of a no-cost, easy to fit in if you have Beastmasters and cats, that's a significant cost, and no Lion player will ever play it because they hate minus 79. Like,
it's not because it's not insignificant. It's easy to dismiss it.
They've never touched Taken Sensei, and I've talked about this before. I think some Lion players probably should, but like they're not gonna do it. They want to go first. They're gonna go first. It's who they are.
Tadaken Sensei is way better than this Sensei, yeah. And if they won't play that, why would they play this?
So that's the Lion. Liked some of the dual stuff. I'll give them in like the 6-7 range as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's not I like it, but I think it was well designed. There was a couple of things we were complaining about complexity, but that's not a Lion complaint. That's an L5R complaint. I think, yeah, 6 or 7. Solid guys. Blitz, like the Swarmy deck got a couple of things. The Dually deck got a couple of things. That's where you want to go. If you're playing Beastmasters, I can't help you, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Now that I think about it, though, I'm trying to think of like the cards that I'm excited to play.
I don't know. I like that Beastmaster. Okay, I like the Duelist Tactician. I like the other Duelist. No. Yeah, I'm sticking with my 7. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good, yo. I'm good.
This has been
that is Enough Talk.